This is how you create an AI text agent, which is 99% indistinguishable from a human. These are the types of conversations we've had with the agent. You can see it literally comes across just like a human, which is insane. And this is all fully automated. If you want to see exactly how this works, then continue watching till the end, where I give away all of the resources you need to actually build this. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name is Rahul and I run a 6-figure AI automation agency based in London, where we specialize in building AI agents to help businesses convert more leads while saving money and countless hours of time. If you're a business owner looking to leverage these exact same systems in your business to help you drive more sales while saving time and money, head over to the second link in the description below and book in a call with myself. Okay, now let's kick things off by breaking down the system. Okay, so as part of this system, we've got 3 different AI agents built out with specific functionality. Now, I did cover these AI agents in a previous video, so I'm not going to delve into them in complete detail. I walked through the entire flow in a previous video, which was titled How to 2x Your Bookings with a WhatsApp or SMS AI text agent using n8n and GHL. So if you want a more detailed breakdown of the system and the relevant n8n automations, then head over to that video and take a look. Okay, so with this system, the main aim is to take leads that fill out the Facebook ad form, pre-qualify them, answer their questions, and then get them booked in. So in this example, everything is tailored to the Facebook lead form, but in reality, it can also work with leads that come through your website or through social media as well. So what happens here is when someone fills out the Facebook lead form, we then pass over to our n8n intro message agent. This basically generates a tailored introductory message based on the information that we've gathered from the Facebook lead form. That is then sent over to GoHighLevel, which is the CRM we're using, and the message is then output to the customer. So from there, if the lead does respond, we come all the way back over here where the inbound message is processed through GoHighLevel. From there, the inbound message is sent over to our AI conversation agent, which processes the inbound message, uses the context of the conversation as well as the knowledge base to generate an appropriate reply, which is then again sent over to GoHighLevel, where the message is then output to the customer. Now, off the back of these 2 nodes, if there's no response from the user after 1 day, our follow-up agent will kick in, generate a follow-up message, and then that follow-up message is sent over to the customer, again, via GoHighLevel. Now, all of this is what we discussed in a previous video, but the main things I want to focus on in this video are how to allow the client to automatically update the knowledge base through Google Drive, and then how we can make the agent actually sound 99% human. Now, in terms of updating the knowledge base, this is essentially the flow. So the client will go into the Google Drive folder and they can update whatever files they would like. So they can add new files to the folder or make tweaks to existing ones. And then from there, when all of those updates are made, the automation is triggered, which updates the Superbase vector store, which is what the AI agents use as the knowledge base. Okay, so let's start by diving into this system here. So let's head over to n8n and you can see we've got these 2 automations set up. So each of these red boxes basically corresponds to the system where the Google Drive folder is updated and it updates the Superbase vector store. Now you can ignore this automation which is set up down here. This is related to an AI inbound voice agent which we set up in a previous video, so you can just ignore that for now. So you can see we have 2 specific workflows here. So this first one is for when a new file is created and this one is for when a file is updated. Now let me show you the folder configuration in Google Drive. So it's really simple. We just have 1 folder for the client and then you can just add as many files as you like. So I've just added this 1 Google Docs file just for testing. This is what the Google Docs file looks like. So it's really simple. We've just got some basic business info. We've got the name, address, and email. Obviously, you can add a lot more information to this, but we've just kept it really simple just so we can test. And then this is what it looks like inside Superbase. So you can see we've got the business info, the name, the address, and the email. So if we went ahead and actually updated it, we can just add in a phone number. So from here, what we can do is come over to n8n. We can trigger this workflow, execute it, and it will basically process. So if we refresh this, we can see it will be updated. And there you go. You can see the phone number has been added in. So it's super simple. Let me just break down each of these automations. So within n8n, what you'll need to do is connect up your Google Drive account. That will involve connecting to Google Cloud Console, which you can do by following these steps within n8n. And then once that's done, you basically have this trigger, which is file created, and then this one, which is file updated. And then all of these other steps here are basically the same on both workflows. So what we're doing here before updating these Superbase rows is we're deleting the existing rows in the table. That's just because the information in those existing rows might be out of date. So from here, what we do is we download the Google Drive file, and then we pass it over to our Superbase vector store, and we have the default data loader, which loads all of that data into the vector store for us. So it's really a super simple process. And you can see up here, we've got these 2 AI agents, which pull from the Superbase vector store. So they can use this information when responding to customers. Okay, now let me delve into this top half of the system where things are a little more complicated. So if you haven't seen the previous video where I break down the system in a lot more detail, then don't worry, I'll quickly go through the automations here, just so you get an idea of what's going on. So within GoHighLevel, we've got these 6 main automations. So the first one is this AI personalization automation. So as soon as someone fills out that Facebook lead form, they are added to this workflow and then sent over to n8n, where the AI intro message agent basically processes all of the information we have on that specific contact and generates an appropriate message to send out. Now, workflow number 2 is the input aggregation workflow. So if we're getting responses back from the customer, we need to aggregate those responses. For example, when people are sending messages, they often send several messages over the course of a few lines. So we want to aggregate all of those messages together, then send those over to the AI agent, which can then process them in bulk. And then workflow number 3, which is where after all of those input messages have been aggregated, we then need to process them. So this basically sends over all of those messages to the AI conversation agent, which processes them, sends them back over to GoHighLevel, and then workflow number 6 will actually output the response to the customer. And then we also have workflows number 4 and 5. So the fourth one is for AI follow-up. So if the customer hasn't responded within a day, we then use the AI follow-up agent within n8n to send over a relevant follow-up message, which is then processed and sent through this workflow. And then finally, workflow number 5, which is the human handover workflow. So if the customer has specifically requested to speak with a person or a human rep, then they are handed over to a member of the team, and then the team can handle it from there. And the AI is also turned off for that specific customer. Now within n8n, you can see a breakdown of all of these agents. So at the top here, we have the AI intro message agent. In the middle, we have the AI conversation agent. And then at the bottom, we have the AI follow-up agent. So based on the requests coming through, we basically route down each of these 3 paths depending on which agent is required. Now, I'm not going to delve into the specifics of the n8n configuration because that can get quite detailed. So if you want more information on that, I recommend going to check out the previous video where I actually went through everything step by step. And you can also access this entire template completely for free by joining my school community, which is the top link in the description below. And then you can download this, just import it into n8n and actually have it up and running in minutes. But the main focus of this video is to show you guys how we actually create these AI agents, which sound 99% human. So let me dive into the actual prompt engineering behind that. So first of all, we're going to go into the AI intro message agent, and I'm actually going to open up this. So you can see that the user message here is just passing over the input information that we have of the customer. So this is sent over from GoHighLevel. And then the main bulk of the work, which actually makes this sound human-like, is within this system prompt. So within the system prompt, you can see we've allocated a clear role. We've just said you are Amy, a member of the reception team at Solar London, which is a solar panel company based in London, Canary Wharf. You are engaging in a conversation with a customer. And then we've also given it some important rules. So this basically just says if the AI agent can't find the relevant information within the vector data store or within the prompt, then it will basically tell the customer that it will check with the manager first before actually outputting a specific message. And then we also give it some more initial information here just to tell it that it is dedicated to processing the first message of the user. So its specific role is to actually generate a tailored introductory message to get a response out of the customer. And then we've also given it a rough blueprint of how to structure the message just so it knows roughly what to say. Now the main rules which actually allow this agent to sound very, very human-like are down here. So we've given it a bunch of rules on how to actually engage in the conversation. So here we've said you must use capital letters for the customer's name, and you must always use question marks correctly, and you must only keep your responses 2 to 3 sentences long. And then we also tell it to not use correct grammar, so it must include the odd spelling mistake, use phrases like haha, thanks, by the way, lol, etc., because it must sound exactly human-like, but it shouldn't overuse them, so it should only use them a maximum of once per message, and only use those phrases if they actually make sense to use in the context of the conversation. And then we've also given it some more information on how to use LOL and haha within the conversation, only when there's actually a joke given by the customer, because we don't want to overuse those because it can seem very unprofessional. And then we also tell the agent to not use capital letters or punctuation correctly, because then that will seem even more human-like, and it should only keep responses really short. And then we've also added this extra step in here where we're telling the agent to not say this specific phrase, which is, I noticed you didn't include any extra info. This is only really necessary if you're using Facebook ads, which don't actually capture any information from the lead apart from their name, email, phone number. And then of course, within the prompt, we've given it an overarching task, and we've also fed in some information like the first name, so the actual agent can reference that within the conversation. And then we've also passed over some more generic rules, which are not as important in terms of sounding human-like, but just kind of general for the agent to know. Now, of course, I don't expect you guys to actually be copying and pasting this entire prompt out. You can just get it completely for free if you just join my school community via the link in the description below. Just join that, head on over to the resources section, and you can download this, import it into n8n, and then start using it. So yeah, that's basically it in terms of how we prompt the actual AI intro message agent. But then we also have a segment response agent as well, which basically breaks the response into up to 5 messages, which are then sent over to the customer. Again, this sounds more human-like because obviously people usually respond within a series of a few lines rather than bulking everything in one big text message. So within the segment response agent, we've allocated a role and task, and we've also passed over those exact same rules on how to sound more human. And then we've given it some more core rules as well. And we've also given it some more context on message splitting and how to format the output. Now, obviously here with this entire AI text agent, you don't necessarily need to follow the exact prompting structure that we are following here, because if you want it to seem more professional or more informal, then you can do that by adjusting these rules on how to sound human. So depending on your business, we obviously want to change and tweak things accordingly. Now we also follow the exact same prompting structure within this AI conversation agent and also within this segment response agent down here as well. Okay, so now just to wrap up, let me give you a live demo of this system in action. So what we're going to do here is we're going to come over to the first workflow and I'm going to manually add a contact. So I'm just going to add this contact to the workflow and run the test. And then if we come over to the conversation here, so we can see the lead was added to the pipeline and we've been sent these initial messages. So it says, hey, thanks for filling out our ad, Rahul. Just wanted to check, are you looking for solar panels for your home or somewhere else? Just wanted to make sure we give you the right info. Now you also notice we have this opt-out, which is actually legally necessary to have if you're doing this via SMS. If we weren't doing it via SMS and doing it via WhatsApp, then we can just remove that. Okay, so you can see here, I've sent a couple of responses. So you can see I've said, yes, I'm looking for my home in London, and I just wanted a quote. And you can see the lead is also moved to the mid-conversation stage of the pipeline, just so we can track when the leads are actually engaging. Now you also notice I sent a couple messages across a couple lines, which is usually what people do. With traditional AI agents, they would process and generate responses for each of those messages specifically. Whereas with our system, we aggregate these messages and we generate a response specifically for that entire bulk of message. So you can see the AI agent has then responded. It says, hey, thanks, mate. Yeah, we cover all of London for sure. How many panels are you thinking about or you're not sure yet? Just helps us get a better quote for you. And now you see I went on to send these other two messages. I just said, I'm not sure. I was hoping you guys could recommend, point us in the right direction as to how many panels we should get. So now you can see the AI agent has responded. It basically tries to pre-qualify the lead, find more information so it can then go on to actually book in the quote. So it's basically just asking what's the size of your roof and is it flat or pitched? So we can go ahead and respond. So you can see I've just responded, just said, not too sure. I have a decent sized 5-bed house, pitched roof, some parts are flat. I was just hoping to get a quote because I'm inquiring around just to compare. So now you can see the AI has responded. It just says, thanks, mate. Loads of people shop around. Just so you know, we've got over 500 5-star reviews on Trustpilot. We're pretty solid in London. If you want a proper quote, it's probably best to book in a quick call so we can check if we're the right fit. Then we can give you all the details. Here's the link. So you can see what the AI agent has done here. It's basically acknowledging what the customer is saying, agreeing with them, and then providing them with a message to build more reputation and rapport, and then basically moves forward to give them the call to action to actually book in. Now, of course, if the lead does not respond or doesn't book in, then we have the AI agent to actually follow up with the lead as well. So after one day, if there's no response or no booking, then the AI agent would have a tailored follow-up ready. It would send it out to the lead and basically try to push the conversation forward. Now, if you want high quality voice and text AI agents implemented for your business, visit the second link in the description below to book in a call with myself. And also don't forget to subscribe, comment, hit the like button if you like these videos, and let me know if there's anything specific you guys would like to see. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.